baby. Yes, sir. There we go, my people. Yes, we are here. Now we actually are officially here. I am here. This is the first episode of Faygo Mania. It is your boy. This is the unofficial JCW Lunacy reaction show with your boy, Everett Mac. Juggalo Mac for what they call me in the streets. Now listen, y'all. Why am I 20 years late on this JCW Lunacy? Where have I been? Why have I decided now is the time to start talking this kind of wrestling? Going to an indie show, getting super niche, getting super nuanced. And the answer is quite simple. Wrestling nowadays from the mainstream tip has not been, hasn't been my cup of tea. Hasn't been my cup of joe. And it's been actually quite upsetting and quite unfortunate that I've kind of lost the love and I lost the passion and lost the desire to go to shows or enjoy myself from the major promotions. You know what I mean? Not talking about AEW, more so talking about the flagship, what we're talking about, World Wrestling Entertainment. So Heidi got to thinking, she was like, man, you're always talking about, this JCW thing and you're kind of getting interested in this JCW thing. Why don't you do a show about that? And I was like, man, there probably is another show about that, and there's an official show about that. Why the hell would I want to do that? She goes, because it excites you. That's what you want to talk about. And I was like, absolutely. So that got me thinking, beautiful people. That got me thinking on my juggalos and my juggalettes.
Woo, woo.
What?
Woo, woo.
That got me thinking that maybe I should start this show because I get oh so excited. I get oh so delightful. I get so engaged and so intoxicated by what's going on, right? And I kind of just wanted to break down each show and kind of break down each episode and kind of get down to the nitty gritty and just talk about, my passion for the JCW Lunacy, because I never thought in a million years I'd be rocking with the indie show. But this show tonight, my people, this show tonight was no exception. And first and foremost, before I would kind of break down into everything and kind of break down the show and the matches and the vignettes and the backstage things and all the antics, man, I'm just blown away by kind of the culture that they're building, in JCW, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching the show tonight and I see the advertisement come around and it has the 3-town beat down and they're doing this huge advertisement about all the places they're going to go and all the things they're going to see, and it's free. And I got to thinking, like, man, I remember back growing up, man, not being able to afford wrestling shows or wishing I had an outlet to go into or wishing I had a city to go into to kind of to get that wrestling fix, and for them to go into cities and put on free shows for the masses and show people what they're made of and show people what they're about is really, really awesome. And I'm really, really excited to kind of hopefully catch one of these shows. But listen, that brings me to tonight's episode. Starting off the gate, Luciano Enterprises open the show. Vito gets instant heat. Mickey Knuckles boot thing comes out. And I'm telling you right now, when Big Vito comes out, Big Vito gets heat. That's all you need to know. Big Vito gets chants. Big Vito gets all kinds of things. Big Vito gets stuff like this. Big Vito gets all these things, and it is an awesome, awesome thing to see. But listen, y'all. Big Vito comes out. He starts cutting promos. He's hot under the collar. He's bothered. He's rattled. He's shaken. He's disturbed. And all of a sudden, he mentions a friend that he has. He's going to bring out a friend. And I'm like, who is this friend? Who on earth is this friend? And guess what? It's my boy. Formerly known as Dolph Ziggler, Nick Nemeth pulls up, baby. Yes. That is my first introduction of JCW as far as doing this show, and I could not be more excited. I get Nick Nemeth. Nick Nemeth comes out. He catches a beat down. He catches an old school beat down, and he is saved by Too Tough Tony and my cuz Willie Mack, setting the stage, setting the moments for tonight's main event. Now, What do I like about all this stuff, man? I like beginning the show with promos. I like beginning the show setting the stage. I like beginning the show with letting the people know at home and letting the people know in the streets what they're gonna get. You know what I'm saying? There's just something about what they're kind of doing in opening that show, giving me an OG, giving me Nick Nemeth, giving me Dolph Ziggler, giving me a former world champion that's going to be a professional. But lo and behold, Nick Nemeth is supposed to have a match with Mickey Knuckles. Nick Nemeth is about to be blessed with the beauty and the grace and the precision of Mickey Knuckles, the allure, the sultry Mickey Knuckles. He could only be so lucky. But yes, guys, as far as the matches tonight, they had Suicide versus Facade. They had a weapons are all legal match with Big Al, Danny Moe, J-Rod, and Sophia Rose. The main event was PCO and Big Vito versus Too Tough Tony and Willie Mack. And, of course, Nick Nemeth returning to face Mickey Knuckles. That's what they kind of had in store. And as I kind of like am getting my beak wet and my feet wet when it comes to this whole, JCW thing, and this whole JCW vibe and this whole culture that they're trying to build and this whole like atmosphere that they're trying to build, and me trying to be, give himself the Juggalo crown and remember how much I love ICP growing up and remembering how much I love that kind of culture and wanting to be a part of that culture and kind of just trying to get in where I fit in. I was just kind of drinking in how the crowd reacts. I was kind of drinking in how the wrestlers react. I was kind of drinking in how they kind of set things up from the commentary perspective, from the camera perspective, from the background perspective, from the commercial to the vignettes, the promos. And I'm pleasantly surprised, my people. I'm pleasantly surprised. That kind of brings me to match number two. Match number one was Suicide versus Facade. I like Facade. He they call himself the Neon Ninja. Suicide, I'm always weird about guys in masks no matter what. It's just, luchadors or one thing, but I'm kind of weary about that. Facade has a great gimmick. He's a very talented athlete. He comes out with the spray paint, sprays your sign if you have the sign, comes off, has his own style, has character. The thing that I think is missing today in the industry that they've lost sight of in the major promotions is characters. And I don't see characters like I used to see, So it's kind of refreshing to see, as crazy as they are, as unorthodox as they may be, as controversial as they may be to people of this day and age. I think it's refreshing and it's a breath of fresh air to see characters. Y'all hear what I'm saying? But I will say this. I'm going to get this out the way right now because at the end of each of these shows, I'm going to give an old Faygo bottle rating from 1 to 5, 5 being the best, 1 being the least. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, right out the gate, I can't give this show 5 Faygo bottles. You know why, my people? You know why, beautiful people at home? Because I didn't hear this music tonight. Stephen Flo. I did not hear this music tonight. Stephen Flo is on his way. Yeah. What am I supposed to do? You dangled the Stephen Flo carrot in front of my face. Last week, I was waiting with bated breath to get more Stephen Flo, and they said nay. They gave my boy the night off. Listen, Violet J, listen, Vince Russo, I need Stephen Flo every single week so I can hear this. Stephen Flo. That is a simple request. That is a simple thing that I asked for. I just asked for Stephen Flo at all times. There's nothing wrong with that. I've finally found my favorite wrestler in the entire company, and I don't get a Vince Russo! But that's neither here nor there. Everything's fine. I'm okay. That brings me to match number 2. the weapons all legal match with Big Al, fine ass Big Al, for going for the number one contendership with Danny Moe versus J Rod and Sophia Rose. There's been a lot of beef, a lot of ongoing beef. Vince Russo and Violent J and the squad are doing a good job kind of building up storylines within the different divisions and setting up the tone that J-Rod brought her homie in, Sophia Rose, the kind of battle with Big Al and Danny Moe, kind of like really creating creating a moment for you to care, for you to get a rooting interest, whether you like the heel or the babyface, you know. So it's really, really cool. And yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes. Old Juggalo Mac trying to pull up, man. You know what I mean? He's doing his thing. You know what I mean? Stone, go hit your boy up. But this is the first show too, Stone Cold, if you're watching. I don't even know if you're watching me right now, but this is my first show. This is the first rendition. Listen, you know what I mean? Of Faygo Mania. Go running wild, brother. But listen, I was kind of getting the sidetrack. But weapons only match, always really good to see the ladies in action. They got some super talented ladies, man, you know, like lovely ladies, but also talented, and y'all can see they're kind of working on their craft, working on their timing, building up their skills, creating a fan base, building up their character, figuring out how to cut promos. I'm looking around the crowd and seeing that Big Al definitely is a fan favorite. Big Al gets some love. Danny Moe's getting some love. J-Rod's a proper heel, proper old school heel. But with that being said, Danny Moe and Big Al get the dub. Big Al is your number one contender. Big Al will be champion. It is only a matter of time. I've only been watching this for a little bit, but I'm already starting to understand who's making certain moves, who's making certain inroads. You know what I'm saying, my people? But yes, as I'm kind of combing the tea leaves, if I'm starting the first show, Faygo Mania running wild. This is my first show doing this. This is my first time doing something like this, guys. I'm trying out something new, and I hope y'all hang in with me. You know, I'm not familiar with, you know, reaction shows and things like that, so I'm kind of trying to find my way and figure out certain things. But I do know what the hell I want to talk about, and I can't wait to get to the good parts. So that gives me to match 3. That was Mecha Wolf, who I wasn't familiar with, and then Disco Ray with a lovely, talented, spectacular ring rat. I'm telling you, what is more iconic than using a term that's kind of like a negative in the annals of wrestling lore, and kind of turning that frown upside down and making yourself a viable character. And ring rat's the type of girl that bounces from wrestler to wrestler and actually impacts and affects matches, like the old school type of wrestling, the wrestling that I grew up with, the wrestling that there's still a space for. There's still a space for logic, because great wrestling back in the day was actually based on story logic from TVs, movies, and things like that, you know, theater. You know, and heels and baby faces, good guys, bad guys, things affecting this. This thing happens because this thing that happens, and therefore this thing happens. That's kind of what has been missing for me in modern day wrestling. So to see somebody by the name of Ring Rat, who's a pretty girl who goes around and uses her feminine wiles to help her wrestler win, is old school. It's refreshing, and is an amazing thing to see. So it was Mega Wolf versus Disco Ray. Ring Rat helping Disco Ray get the dub. Disco Ray starting to grow on me. A lot of these wrestlers are starting to grow on me, guys. What do you want me to say? Do you want me to lie to y'all? Do y'all want me to lie and say that I'm not heavily invested in these wrestlers right now? I'm finding myself caring about them. So quick recap. Facade goes over Suicide. Big Al, Danny Moe go over J-Rod and Sophia Rose. Disco Ray goes over Mecha Wolf with the Ring Rat getting the assist. Oh my goodness. And that leads me to the next match.
Woo, woo.
Nick Nemeth was put in a match by Big Vito against the gorgeous, sultry Mickey Knuckles. Now, intergender matches, how do you feel about them? Yay, nay, it don't matter. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what was going to happen. I know Nick Nemeth, a.k.a. Dolph Ziggler, a.k.a. the show-off, a.k.a. one of the greatest wrestlers to ever live, was in the match with somebody that was delectable, a delectable delight. A delectable delight. Yo, whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop. Trav.
Whoop, whoop.
Trav, can we talk about it? Did you see the show, bro? Yo, Trav, did you see the show, bro? Juggalo Mac, Willie Mac cousin in the building. Did you see the show? I'm getting sidetracked. But Trav, tell me you watched the show, bro. Tell me what your match of the night was while I'm going on my rant, bro. Tell me what your match was. Tell me what your match of the night was. So you get Nick Nemeth versus the incomparable, the gorgeous, the sultry, the palpable Mickey Knuckles. And what did she proceed to do? She used her feminine wiles. Bro, Trav. Can we talk about the ladies and how they put on the show, how they showed up and showed out? Yo, shout out to Big Al, shout out to Danny Moe, shout out to the ladies getting it in, you know what I mean? But as Mickey Knuckles is going against the old Ziggy, artist formerly known as Dolph Ziggler, old Nick Nemeth, she's using her feminine wiles. Nick Nemeth doesn't know what to do. I can make the argument that this is one of his toughest matches of his career because he didn't know how to do a collar and elbow. Every time they do a standard collar and elbow, Mickey Knuckles had other plans. Mickey Knuckles was using her feminine wiles to show Nick Nemeth that this wasn't going to be easy. And he almost lost the match because he didn't know what to do. With the cagey veteran, the JCW Lunacy Hall of Famer. Mickey Knuckles had my boy in fits, have him up and down, round and round, side to side. Yo, Trevor, what was your match of the night? Was it the ladies? I'm curious. But Nick Nemeth, veteran presence, and Mickey Knuckles, because she did not want Nick Nemeth to let her go, she took the pin. She'd rather have Nick Nemeth's chiseled frame and chiseled jaw on her than to win this match. Absolutely unbelievable, Mickey Knuckles. But yes. Wheel 5 Stud Muffin, what's going on, baby? I hope you're doing all right, brother. It's been way too long, bro. I hope you've seen. Yo, you could check it out. You could check out it on go to YouTube, bro. Put in JCW Lunacy on YouTube, bro. It's just been fun, man. It's been fun. It's been entertaining. I'm loving watching this, bro. So you got to check it out. You gotta check it out. Trevor's in there. Yeah, for sure. Trevor's locked in. Okay, so we got that out the way now. That brings me to the main event, my people. That brings me to the main event, which kind of was set up earlier in the opening of the show. Big Vito, when he kind of put Nick Nemeth in a match, they kind of came up with the main event, and that was Too Tough Tony, my cousin Willie Mack, you know what I mean, PCO, and Big Vito. Now listen. This match had implications. It was for the tag team titles, and I kind of was starting to. I'm trying to piece together what they're trying to do here, what they're trying to build here. Vito always seems to be the center of all the drama. He seems to be the kind of the linchpin and all the things that are happening because he's a proper heel and he's a proper bad guy. And I kind of like what he's got going on. Willie Mack, Too Tough Tony, and sidebar. Too Tough Tony coming out. Stuff that I just don't see anymore, man. Stuff that makes me feel good about watching wrestling, man. Too Tough Tony comes out with the JCW jersey on. He brings out the liquor. He goes around ringside, y'all, and he's passing out and doing shots. He's pouring shots in people's mouth all the way around ringside. People of age, of course. But he's going all around ringside. Too Tough Tony pours shots. He got a longer entrance than Roman Reigns, going around his whole thing, and it is amazing. Then my cousin Willie Mack come out, and he does his thing with the Afro pick. Then we get Vito, and then we get PCO, and then we get a match. And it's just good old-fashioned wrestling, good old-fashioned crowd work, good old-fashioned storytelling in the middle of the ring. And I got to tell you guys, it's just refreshing to see. it's something that I love to see. It's something that I'm enjoying watching. Something that I got so inspired that I was going to start a damn reaction show so I can let y'all know to see my reactions after I watch the show, fresh off the show, my people. But I got Wheel 5 Stud Muffin in here. I seen Trev in here for a little bit. We talking matches, we talking everything, and that's how we are going to do it moving forward. Vito gets the heat. Vito does what he does. Things go on, and that's what they do. But check it out, y'all. The match ends in a disqualification. Big Vito saw things weren't going his way. Thought they might take the L. They get a DQ. Willie Mack and Too Tough Tony retain, but that's just a good way to keep the dice rolling. That's just a good way to keep things going and kind of have us see what they're going to do down the road. You know what I mean? But that kind of brings me to kind of like the meat to the nitty gritty that I wanted to talk about. You know what I mean? I kind of wanted to get into the promos and the backstage and kind of unpack that as we kind of unpack the matches, right? You know, and one of the first things that stick out to me is literally, to me, the lost art of the backstage. You hear what I'm saying? Like, the backstage was used to kind of highlight a wrestler, give a wrestler a moment, and kind of further the storyline at the same time. I think things have gotten lost in the shuffle when people kind of try to take the backstage and kind of use it as a filler. But it's much more valuable than a filler because you can pre-tape them, you can create them, you can edit them, you can do certain things that kind of make them, you know, like it's a great advertisement for the wrestlers. You know what I mean, Trevor? I think you get what I'm saying though, Trev. You know what I mean? So like it's and I'm telling you, like, for example, I barely have heard Facade talk. All I've seen Facade do is flip around and spray paint signs and beat the brakes off people, but I haven't seen him talk that much. So when I seen him backstage with Mac and he had charisma and he had wit, I was like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, he was super sharp, giving Mac the business. Mac's a pro, and it felt like an old school Mean Gene segment back in the day. And I was like, oh my God. And that kind of sticks out in my mind for tonight's episode. Then that gets me to Barnabas the Bizarre. They set the stage. They've been continually talking about certain things, keeping the storyline going. They're not just doing things to fill time. They're not just doing things to fill space. They're setting things up. They're making you wait to be continued, draw it out, and then you have to come in and tune in and see. There was things that happened last week with Barnabas the Bizarre, Cocaine, and Steve. Uh-oh, wait a minute now.
Stephen Flow.
Yes, sir.
Stephen Flow.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Stephen Flow. Stephen Flow is on his way, yeah.
Yo, I gotta get Stephen Flow on this show.
Oh, Stephen Flow.
Your boy's name is Stephen Flow. The boys from Seattle, man. If you know, you know. Shout out Pearl Jam. Shout out Stephen Flow. But they had this thing going on, and I was curious if it was going to end with Barnabas the Bizarre, his crew, Cocaine, and Stephen Flow. But what do? They continue it. They start with Barnabas the Bizarre saying, we have to get that guy. Fast forward, they catch up to Cocaine. Barnabas the Bizarre gets the upper hand for the moment. Then all of a sudden, he looks back, and then his minions have been doused with some kind of substance. Some kind of substance. Some kind of substance. And now Cocaine has the upper hand, and now we get to see what happens next week. Now, listen. Then we got Vito and Mr. Anderson, their backstage segment. That was fun. That was good. That was old school wrestling. They're setting something up between Vito and Mr. Anderson. Something's coming to a head. They will have a match. I don't know if it's going to be in Vegas. I don't know if it's going to be in Detroit. I don't know where it's going to be, but something's going on there. And that leads me to probably the best backstage segment of the night. The best backstage segment for the night with me was the great Vincent Russo and Violent J. For everybody listening to the sound of my voice, anybody that's gonna watch this, anybody that's gonna get into the Faygo Mania, you gotta understand something here. Everyone needs to watch how Vince Russo operates backstage with these backstage promos. Everyone needs to take a pen out and a pad out and write notes on how to perform and how to act and how to emote and how to pause and how to use cadence and delivery to get your point across. The scene backstage with him and Violent J talking about real life stuff that's really going on with them in the past, but weave it into the storyline and doing it with good delivery is something to be studied. And Vince Russo, a man that came out of retirement because he's the GOAT, he still got it. And I believed what he was saying. I don't believe a lot of wrestlers anymore. I don't believe a lot of GMs anymore. I don't believe them because they're playing a character poorly. So it was really good to see that segment, that backstage segment between Violent J and Vince Russo, and it kind of set up the very, very end of the show with Vince Russo having a huge, huge, huge announcement. All right, y'all. I got the minutia out. I got the nitty gritty out. Now that gets me to Evan Max, Lunacy Love. You hear me? Each week that I come on here and do this show, y'all, I'm going to give some love to someone specifically that's a part of the show, specifically that made an impact, somebody specifically that I want to highlight, someone specifically that got my eye, that got my attention. And let me tell you something. Out of all the years I've watched wrestling, man, and I've watched wrestling for a very long time, one of the greatest vignettes I've ever seen in my entire life happened last week. I was like, damn it, I wish I had started this show last week. It started last week. And I was hoping that this week they would come back with another vignette to keep things going and keep people locked in and keep people tuned in. And damn it, by God, they did. Let me tell you something right now. The Red Love vignettes, whoever's editing them, whoever wrote them, whoever shot it, it is one of the best vignettes I have seen in years. I mean years, decade and a half. It is shot well. It is edited well. It is acted well. And let me tell you something right now, Father Bronson. I am telling you, if you can wrestle half as good as you can deliver lines, if you can wrestle half as good as you know how to deliver your character and your cadence and your promo, I am telling you right now, you are going to be a superstar at JCW. You are going to be a superstar wherever you want to go. And I am telling you guys right now, the whole show is worth the vignette of, I'm telling you, of that Red Love. The Red Love vignette gets Lunacy Love this week. Let's go! Oh my goodness gracious. Absolutely unbelievable. Yes. Well, that brings me to the Lunacy MVP. That's going to be the match, the moment, or the package of the night. And I'm telling you, I want to give it the Red Love, but I can't do that. That's not fair. So you know my MVP of the night. You know the Lunacy MVP got to go to Mickey Knuckles.
Woo, woo.
I said Mickey Knuckles.
Woo, woo.
Hey, yo, Mickey Knuckles.
Woo.
Mickey Knuckles with her joie de vivre, with her je ne sais quoi, with her feminine wiles, with her, some say, questionable tactics. But I say she's just looking for love in all the wrong places. She's the MVP. She keeps juggling all kinds of crazy stuff Vito's throwing at her. She got Nick Nemeth with his hands all over her. Don't even know how to act. Get your hands off. She didn't give you permission to touch her, Nick Nemeth. And she was the MVP of the night with just class and grace and just so much beauty. You know what I mean? So give it up for Mickey Knuckles. All right, y'all. All right. As he's winding down, y'all, the WTF moment, also Nemeth match with Mickey Knuckles. Don't know how it happened. Don't know how it came to be. That kind of stuff entertains me. I'm always here, always for it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. All right, guys. Now, before I close this thing out, before I wrap this thing up, that kind of leads me to the end of what happened. Vince Russo comes out, everybody, right? He comes out with this huge announcement. He's been teasing this announcement, and he teased that announcement to keep us engaged, to keep us locked in, so we will stay all the way to the end. That's how you book a show, guys. That's how you book in things. You dangle the carrot for us. You keep the carrot dangled, and then at the end of the night, you hopefully you dangle it long enough that we can get the carrot. That's what Vince Russo does. That's what he's been a master of for many years. That's why a lot of the favorite wrestling that you guys love, he wrote. So he comes out. He cuts a promo. He's doing the Lord's work out there, cutting a promo, and he says that this is why I call it the art of the build. Vince Russo is good at the art of the build. He says that Violent J gets 2 partners versus Vito's 2 partners. Whoever wins the match out of the 2, Vince Russo will trade over his majority stake, his percentage stake, over to the other one. So either Violent J will be running JCW, or Big Vito will be running JCW. That right there is how you give intrigue and build and make me want to care about what's going on. I don't know who the 4 guys are going to be, which 2 on each side they're going to be. I don't know how they're going to recruit, but that's why you have to tune in next week to JCW Lunacy, baby. I am very happy. I'm very refreshed. I'm happy to be talking about something that's entertaining me for once, because I've not been entertained with this wrestling for, quite frankly, a year. Quite frankly, 2 years. Quite frankly, 3 years. And I'm here, and Juggalo Mac is back, and it's going to be a beautiful thing. But, guys, that's it for me. First episode, I'm dipping my toes in the water. I'm getting my beak wet, but I'll be here every Thursday after the show, trying to go a little bit after the official show, just because, you know what I mean? I think that's kind of rude, even though, you know, nobody really knows I exist just yet, but it's still a little rude to do things right after they do it, because they're the official, John. And I hope to do some different things, guys. I hope to get some of the wrestlers on here. I'm going to try my best to see if I can kind of make this a really cool show for everybody to hang out and vibe and chill with. But that's it for me, guys. Anybody that watch, man, please, you know, like, subscribe, share it, spread the word. This Faygo Mania show is about love, man, and to the ICP community, love for the Juggalos and love for the Juggalettes, love for the independent wrestling scene, and love for JCW Lunacy, man. But that's it for your boy. Love, please, chicken grease, a hot comb, and some grits. Can I get a whoa, whoa?
Woo, woo.
Gotta get a whoa, whoa.
Woo, woo.
And damn it, Vince Russo, if I don't hear this music at the end of to next week, we're gonna have a problem. Let's go!
Steven Flow.